Hello, friends, family, and countrymen. It's Nicholas, and I know it's literally been 2 years since my last episode. Almost to the date, give or take 2 months. I apologize for that. I guess this episode is just going to be an update. So, a few things. One, there was supposed to be a live episode, but due to instances that happened at that live episode, I can't play it. It was A, very bad episode overall, and B, just I can't show it to you. I will say the people that I met at the live show, loved them, super great, excited to meet people who have seen the show, listened to the show, whatever. Now, the update part of this episode / update episode, is that a thing? Let's start making it a thing. At the moment, I don't know what to do with the show because when I set out to start this show, it was a interesting take on dying, making fun of death a little bit, but also recognizing that death is an everyday part of life. We're all going to die, right? The problem with that became in 2020 through 2022, it's been hard to talk about death at all. So that's why the show has been kind of on a hiatus. Also, personal issues. As I mentioned before, I don't do this show if I'm not in a good mental space, and pandemic has kind of mixed with life a little bit, and it's just not been fun to do the show. But I have kept the show live, essentially, on the internet as much as I can, regularly retweeting episodes of the podcast, hyping it up still every once in a while on Twitter and Reddit. The issue is I want to do the show still. I love How Will I Die. I love the thought process that I put into it. But the biggest problem is doing it myself is frankly boring. And I don't want to do it by myself anymore. So I figured out a new way around that. From here on out, when there is a new episode, it is going to feature a guest. A, that's the first thing. And B, it's going to be shorter. Essentially, we're going to reformat the show, which, as we all know, the perfect time to reformat a show is like 25 episodes in. Although, technically, it's not really 25 episodes or whatever the number is. Because 6 of those episodes were my Dying in Dragons. 5 of those episodes were special presents episodes. So, there actually haven't been that many episodes of the show. Which is why I'm okay with doing a change to the format. So, let me explain what that change is. In future episodes, as I am able to record them with a guest, the titular question of how will I die is going to be very literal, because my new question of the guests is going to be, how would you kill me? And I think that's going to be a fun way to, A, dive deep into the brains of the people that I bring on the show, and B, to just get something more enjoyable. So that's the change that's coming, and it's a change that we need. I guess also an update that may not be in the feed, but you may have noticed that there's no intro on the head of this episode. That's because in 2020, I was let go from the network for good reason. I posted 2 episodes in 2020, and that was it. So my network let me go, which is fine. I'm okay with that. It happens. It's a part of life. And I'm not salty or anything. This whole podcasting thing has been a learning experience. I've worked on a few other podcasts since then, not my own, but producing some, working with other podcasters, blah, blah, blah. I've made several guest appearances on other podcasts in the time that I've been absent from my own, which is kind of funny to me. So that's where we are. The show is not over as much as it definitely feels like it is, and it does sometimes feel like it's over, but it's not. I'll be coming back to you with some fun stories, some fun deaths, and a whole lot of laughs. One last thing as a little bit of an update to my life. I know that this isn't necessarily part of the show, but it's part of the life that I'm living, essentially. So I just wanted to throw a few announcements / updates on my life. I am still in LA, still doing some film stuff, still doing a lot of writing stuff. I make a lot of short films, especially recently, especially for contests and such. So that's super cool. If you want to check out some of those, there's a playlist on my YouTube. I believe there's a link below. Also, super huge news for me. I wrote a book, and it comes out next year, hopefully. It's called Her Name Was. I'm super excited for people to read it. It is super raw and emotional, but also it's a lot of really cool stories about my life, and specifically my life and dating. And I can't wait for people to get their hands on it. If you want to know more about the book, reach out to me. If you want to be one of the very first people to read it, go ahead and reach out to me. And I will maybe get you an advanced copy, maybe. Because I have 4 on my person right now. Outside of that, still doing writing stuff over on a few websites. Just check out my Twitter. But also, when you do check out my Twitter, just note that I've been doing a lot of series watching and live tweeting of watching series, including Degrassi, mostly Degrassi, and Heartstopper, and a few other shows. Be prepared for that. Yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to throw in here before I left. So thanks for listening. I will see you in the next one. And like I always say at the end of every episode, and I've never forgotten this saying, guaranteed, never forgotten it, and didn't have to go and listen back to a past episode to remember it after 2 years. Don't worry about the inevitable. Focus on the possibilities.